All right. Impromptu show. Um, gonna talk this morning about Zuffa boxing. They just finished their third show. A lot of different discussions about what they're doing. Is this good for boxing? Is it bad for boxing? Um, I think it's good for boxing in one way. We're getting more boxing, and I think that's a positive thing. Um, what's bad about it? I don't know. I think the issue that I have most with Zuffa boxing, at least in general, is the person who is, I guess you could say, the figurehead. I don't know if he's actually runs it necessarily as far as on the back end, but he's pretty much the mouthpiece for Zuffa boxing, and that's Dana White. And the thing is with him is he's just kind of, I'll be straight up. To me, he's a douchebag. He's one of those people that feels that he's kind of better than everybody else. He thinks he's above what the outfit. So, for example, UFC, for example, he's the figurehead. But what they're doing is they're trying to make boxing like UFC, where the brand, which is Zuffa boxing, and Dana White is more important than the boxers. But what they'll understand is boxing is about the fighters. The fighters is what people come to watch. People don't care about, the Zuffa on your glove, the Zuffa mouthpieces, dressing the fighters up like they're part of this organization. That's not what fans of boxing are about. Fans want to be fans of a particular boxer or a particular fight that you're putting together. And what Zuffa's doing is, and what's actually interesting to me is they really made this stink about how they're going to change the industry and whatnot. And they're going to make, the best fight the best and blah, blah, blah. That's just this nonsense that comes out of the mouths of people who followed MMA or UFC, that the best always fight the best. But the thing is, if you're going to come into boxing with Zuffa boxing and you say you're going to have the best fight the best, but then the first thing you say when you come into boxing, you say, oh, we're not going to work with other promoters. We're not going to work with other sanctioning bodies. So, or any of the sanctioning bodies, that's what they said. So if that's the attitude that you're having, you're actually going against what actually needs to be done to change the sport, because all you're doing is you're creating another entity, and boxing is becoming even more fractured than it already is. So how are you going to have the best fight the best in boxing if your whole attitude when you're coming in is to separate yourselves from all the outfits that have all the fighters that people are going to perceive the fighters that you have are going to need to fight at some point? So this whole idea that they're coming in to change the sport or best is going to fight the best. The reality is all they want is to be able to control a certain aspect of the sport. And what they're hoping for is, because they got deep pockets, they're part of this company called Endeavor, which I believe owns UFC. They also own WWE now. So, and Paramount Plus is where the umbrella of the UFC and then the Zuffa boxing is contracted and broadcast on Paramount Plus. So, which is a good thing that they have a outlet deal with Paramount Plus where we can see boxing. Are they going to be able to get the talent? They've been signing some fighters recently, few fighters here and there. Nothing that's really stands out to me, because you're going to have to sign a lot of fighters to make a lot of good fights. And kind of what I've seen so far is, they've had some decent fights. I'm not going to totally criticize them, but as far as, the level of fights they've been putting on, these are the same types of fights they've been criticizing that ESPN was putting on, fights where guys are 10-1 favorites. they have a fight that's coming up with one of their biggest signings, cruiserweight champion Jai Opatai. He's going to be fighting, I believe, in March against Brandon Glanton. Not a fighter that kind of name of a fighter that really jumps out at you. Not necessarily a bad fight, considering it's, a world title fight, Ring Magazine Championship. But all I'm saying is they're coming in with a big mouth, but whatever they're doing right now it's not setting the world on fire. I mean, it's really not. It's just the arrogance of this guy. He just feels that he has to just piss on everybody. And he just puts a bad taste in him. I just never liked the guy. I mean, his whole affiliation, trying to be buddy with Donald Trump, this attitude that he has that he's, hey man, you're just some flunky that wanted to be a boxer, I'm sure, at one point. And you had some buddies in the Fertitas or whatnot, and you got a bit lucky. I mean, let's be real here. You jumped into a sport and you guys got the sport regulated, which, more power to you. But as far as caring about fights and fighters, you guys don't care about fighters. All you care about is trying to build up a business on the backs of fighters and build a brand and rinse and repeat. When these guys get knocked out and they get hurt, you're just going to find a new sucker to put in their place. That's what they've been doing with UFC. That's why so many UFC fighters have sued, the UFC outfit, because obviously that's why you see UFC fighters, anytime they want to make a bag, as you could say, what do? They leave the UFC and they go into boxing because that's the only way they're going to get a big check. So bottom line is, Dana White, get your act together. Stop being such a scumbag and pay fighters what they deserve, and stop thinking that it's about you. Boxing is not about you. Boxing is about the fighter. That's my rant for the day, and I'll see you next time.